Call of Duty is a toxic game. We all know that. Heck, that toxicity is part of the reason a lot of us love it. We're weirdos. I know. I mean, Black Ops 2 lobbies. Come on, Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
Yes, actually get it. Oh my god! You fucking slut! Shut up!
But sometimes a gun can be so annoying or so busted that its very existence becomes toxic. You don't even have to be talking in your microphone or typing in the game chat, and you will still be seen as the most toxic person in the lobby simply because you were using a certain gun. If you don't believe me, well, we're going to rewind back to COD 4. And we are doing the Every series. I know you guys love this and you request it all the time. We're going to look back at the M16. We're going to go through every Call of Duty, COD 4 all the way through Black Ops 7. The most broken burst rifle of the Golden Age. I truly believe that. Completely outclassed everything else in the game. And there was this kind of unspoken agreement back in the day that you didn't spam it for the integrity of the multiplayer. But then again, if you were a little toxic, little MLG tryhard who just wanted as much XP as they could possibly get their little grubby hands on, you didn't care how much damage you did to the integrity of the game or to your reputation. You're running this gun in every single match on every single map. And that made it toxic. With how fast the TTK was back in COD 4, it was not hard to have this melty gun in your hands and just destroy everybody. And then you get the connection issue, or the improved connection, not the issues in Modern Warfare Remastered, and it was just game on. It was something. World at war. Now, I don't think there were really many toxic guns in the game, which that's a good thing. But ultimately, the MP40 was the pick here because it was so frustrating to go up against, and even though it was a lot of fun to be the one using it, it quickly got under your skin if you weren't the one pulling the trigger, because I've said this many times on this channel. The game would have been significantly better if the MP40 wasn't so broken, or if it didn't even exist. You had an unfair advantage if you were running this thing. It was fun every now and again, but it felt dirty, and you were frequently using it too much. You needed to take a look in the mirror because you were actively making the experience worse for everyone else, but you didn't care, because you were getting all that easy XP. Now we move on to Modern Warfare 2. And Modern Warfare 2 had a lot of weapons that could have been called toxic, right? But I think the one that deserves to be on the list today is the full auto insta-kill secondary shotgun, known better as the AA-12. Today's video is sponsored by DCKO. If you're a DC fan like me, this one will immediately catch your attention. DCKO is a free-to-play mobile fighter coming to iOS and Android in 2027. Features both live PvP against real opponents and deep PvE experience set across the DC universe. It's a 2v2 tag team system. You bring two legends into battle, use assists, combo tags, super tags, you create your own strategies. Super easy to pick up, but it definitely looks like there's a lot of depth once you start learning the mechanic. What stood out for me right away was the roster potential. The team-up possibilities are endless. Being able to mix DC superheroes and DC supervillains together and build your own combinations, it's kind of a thing that I've always thought was pretty cool. The art style pops, and from what I've seen so far, the combat looks pretty fast and fluid and built around making every match feel different. And you can level up your legends and customize their super to better match your playstyle. I also like the fact that they're putting equal focus on both sides of the game. Whether you're someone who wants to jump into live PvP, test yourself against other real people, or you just rather spend your time in PvE content exploring the DC universe, that's kind of my vibe. It looks like there's going to be plenty to do either way. Plus, they're planning to add a new legend every single month. A big thank you to indie developer Dropfake for sponsoring this video. DCKO is an upcoming free-to-play mobile DC fighter, live PvP versus real opponents worldwide, or you can take on the DC universe solo and PvE. You can register through my link at the top of the description, the pinned comment, or you can scan the QR code to be the first in when it drops. This thing would somehow fit in your back pocket, whip it out whenever you wanted, fired super quickly, had a lot of ammo, and it was also a one-shot kill for whatever reason. I don't know. You could literally run into a room full of enemies and say, "Hey, everybody, I'm here," announce yourself, and then hold down the trigger, wipe everyone out before they even knew what was going on. No need to build your class around the gun either. It was a secondary. Just slap it on any of your classes for absolutely free. I know, Modern Warfare 2 was a busted game as a whole. But did Infinity Ward really have to make a secondary this busted, this easy? I don't think they cared back then. A lot of people genuinely thought they were good at the game for using this. Okay. Black Ops 1. It was the most popular gun in the game. It's the most popular gun in the game right now into the port. It's a little weird to call it toxic, but I would argue the FAMAS was toxic for the same reasons as the COD 4 M16 and the World at War MP40. Obviously overpowered, very obviously destroyed the variety of the game, and yet people used it all the time. They wanted XP. They wanted kills. They didn't care if it killed the variety of the experience. Sure, you could have been a decent human being and use the AUG, or the Galil, or the Infield, or the Commando, but no. You spammed the FAMAS every single match. You didn't want to put any thought or care into your playstyle. You wanted to spam the gun with the best DPS and the easiest handling and act like it somehow made you a boss at the game. Spoiler alert for all of you. It didn't. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you really think you're good at Black Ops 1, get to the top of the lobby without using the FAMAS. If you can only do it with the FAMAS, you need to seriously look in the mirror. Modern Warfare 3. I really thought about putting the Striker here. I debated it back and forth, and I thought about it a little more, and the Striker was super toxic, yes, absolutely skillless, but then again, you couldn't put the Striker in your back pocket to whip it out as a get-out-of-jail-free card whenever you wanted, like the FMG9s. Completely busted upon release, even after it was nerfed. It stayed completely busted because it was literally an insta-kill if you were running two of them at the same time, which everybody was. Nobody ran one FMG9. If you did that, you just announced to everybody, hey, there's a bunch of sharks in the lobby. I'm the minnow. I don't know what I'm doing. Now, I'll admit, they were fun to use, but everybody thought you were a scumbag if you were caught holding one. And the FMG9 users really didn't care. They know it literally was a toggle to make easy mode go on in Modern Warfare 3. Now, let's talk about the other game that everybody's playing right now. Black Ops 2. Treyarch absolutely knew what kind of monster they created with this thing when they put it on a default class with a target finder. Come on, the LSAT. Great fire rate. Amazing ammo capacity, 0 recoil, kill with 1-2 bullets. On top of that, slap a target finder on or FMJ rounds. Just make it great. I'm not going to explain how toxic this gun was. All you had to do for a perfect game was equip the target finder LSAT, find a nice corner, sit in and melt everyone who came on the screen, maybe with a riot shield on your back as your portable cover, and some shock charges covering the doors for good measure. Yeah, seriously, I'm not even going to go into it anymore. You guys already know. Let's move on to Call of Duty Ghosts. This was basically the LSAT reincarnated. I have no idea what Infinity Ward was thinking. Actually, I do, but I'm not going to go into that. Yeah, I am. They were thinking, we better give little Timmy something to spam when he doesn't want to have to think anymore. They gave him the M27 IAR. This was back in COD Ghost, so they probably didn't call him little Timmy yet, but this was the camper's dream back in the Ghost era. It was mobile, it was easy to use, it was strong, had a ton of ammo, very quick reload animation. It did way too much, and it perfectly complemented the camper's playstyle, especially if you slapped on the thermal sight, which almost every M27 user did. Way too easy, way too strong, and it made people hate playing Ghost more than they already did, which, wow, that's an accomplishment. Now we get to the most innovative Call of Duty in history, the Advanced Warfare BAL 27 Obsidian Steed. By far the best gun in the game, by far the most toxic, because everyone knew how toxic and busted it was. Everyone knew it was impossible to get your hands on. If you were one of the lucky few who actually did get the Obsidian, you ran it in every single lobby for the rest of your life because you were cooler than everybody else and you had an unfair advantage. You weren't going to get to the top of the leaderboard by running one of the standard out-of-the-box guns, but you would launch to the top of the leaderboard by running this supply drop exclusive, and you were going to make sure everybody knew you had it. The BAL was toxic enough on its own because Sledgehammer, for whatever reason, thought it was perfectly fine when it was obviously overpowered. But the Obsidian Steed variant? Come on. I mean, it just turned you into a toxic MLG tryhard because you were going to spam it in every single lobby for the rest of eternity. You didn't care how toxic it was because if one thing, it's one thing to use an overpowered weapon that everybody has. If somebody on the other team is spamming an overpowered weapon, you swap over to it, give them a taste of their own medicine. But the BAL, it was literally locked behind RNG supply drops and hardly anybody had it. So if you were getting dominated by it, there was nothing you could do. You just sit there and you take it. You sit there and you take it. I'm glad we'll never have to deal with supply drop exclusive weapons again, but man, Advanced Warfare was some wild, entertaining times. Black Ops 3. Easily one of the most toxic guns in COD history, the 205 Brecci. It's one of those shotguns that makes you scratch your head or make a confused Larry David face because of how the living heck did Treyarch not think this thing was deserving of a nerf of any point during the Black Ops 3 life cycle? The hitbox was gigantic, the range was stupid, the magazine was huge, the fire rate, it was way too nice and generous for the amount of damage you were doing. It was the easiest gun in COD history to top the leaderboard with, and it was the go-to weapon for all of those toxic Black Ops 3 players who just wanted to run around spamming the right trigger, bragging to their buddies how good they were at the game. Yeah, Treyarch nerfed and buffed the Vesper about a dozen times throughout the life cycle of Black Ops 3, but they never put their hands on the Brecci. What is the logic there? Speaking of logic, Infinite Warfare. I don't know how to describe this gun, but there was something frustrating about going up against a freaking Ghostbuster laser. I'm talking about the ERAD, the Cyclopean variant. Maybe it was the fact that the laser could curve and lock onto you, so it required no skill. Maybe it was the fact that this was a Call of Duty game that had Ghostbuster lasers for whatever reason. I don't know. Whatever the reasoning is, the Erad Cyclopean was one of the most annoying guns in the universe to go up against, and by far the most toxic thing in this game. Seriously, when is the last time you saw somebody using this gun and they weren't being super obnoxious? Speaking of obnoxious, not only was this next gun the best shotgun on the PS4 era, it was also the shotgun that introduced the COD community to incendiary shells. By far made it one of the most annoying and toxic things we've ever seen. I'm talking about COD World War II and the combat shotgun. It drastically outclassed the rest of the shotguns in the game, so there was basically no other shotgun you could use if you wanted to. You couldn't. Even if you wanted to be viable or respectful, you couldn't. It was fast, it was lethal, it could set people on fire if you wanted it to, which everybody did. And if you thought the incendiary shotguns in COD World War II were toxic, well, the COD developers apparently wanted to see just how toxic they could get a few years later. We'll talk about that soon. But first, let's go to Black Ops 4. Spammy semi-auto shotguns are always going to have the potential to be the T word. But the SG-12, I think it ramped things up to a new level. Added a strobe light to the experience. Every time I talk about this strobe light, somebody comes in the comments and says, Jimmy, it wasn't that bad. Are you kidding me? I have no idea who thought this was a good idea. Do you guys know how long it takes to develop attachments like this for a Call of Duty game? So not only did the SG-12 strobe light have to get greenlit in a meeting before development started, but then the team of people had to work on it, model, code it, test it, and somehow nobody raised their hand and said, hey, this is probably going to be bad. A built-in flashbang generator on a semi-auto spam shotgun. Yep. Modern Warfare 2019. The shotgun, lots of shotguns here. This one had all the most toxic traits of a pump action and a semi-auto. Who would have thought? Fired quickly, super lethal, range was good, ammo capacity was nutty, and if you put fire shells in it, well, that's wonderful. That's totally the kind of thing that would make this game more fun for everyone. Or it's the kind of thing that would make the community more toxic toward each other as they slide cancel and stim spam their way around the map for the entire match. Fire shotguns should really just burn in hell. Seriously. Yeah. Black Ops Cold War. Raise your hand if you remember the Marshall 16s from Black Ops 3. Well, Treyarch brought them back as the Marshalls in Black Ops Cold War, but instead of locking them behind supply drops, they made them available to all of us, and you may think that's a good thing. They're also somehow even more toxic than they were in Black Ops 3, so maybe they should have been locked behind some extra RNG paywall. Still insta-kill shotgun pistols. You could put on your classes. You could hold two at the same time, but the big difference was the fact that they now had incendiary shells, because of course they did. Why would they not? I mean, so one of the most annoying guns in Black Ops 3 was brought back, and now you could set people on fire. Yeah, thanks, Treyarch. That totally won't be abused by the most annoying COD players of all time. Speaking of that, one of the most annoying Call of Duties of all time, Call of Duty Vanguard, and we have the no-skill multi-kill, basically the COD World War II combat shotgun, but this time, you get 10 attachments. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. The number of videos I saw of people getting nukes by running around the map spamming the right trigger with the combat shotgun in this game was absurd. And you know those people were really proud of themselves when they did it. They were people that really thought they were skilled players because they could run around the map spamming the right trigger with a completely busted combat shotgun with 10 attachments on it. Yeah. Modern Warfare 2. I think this gun really feels like Infinity War was actively trying to piss us off. Semi-auto, high fire rate, insane ammo capacity, great movement. Talking about the KV broadside. It had a completely unreasonable one-shot kill range, and it had an option for incendiary shells. So not only does it instantly delete you from dumb distances without having to precisely aim at you, but it can also cause a whole bunch of annoying visual clutter and flinch with the incendiary shells blasting you across the screen 24/7 if someone on the other team was using it. Thanks, IW. Appreciate it. We're all so much better for having the broadside in the game. On a serious note, stuff like this really... No, not a serious note. That's reputation building in Modern Warfare 2. Let's go over to Modern Warfare 3. Thank goodness these shotguns were nerfed during the Black Ops 6 life cycle, which is kind of hilarious. But if you're playing them at their prime in Modern Warfare 3, you know what I'm talking about. The Akimbo Reclaimers. The Reclaimer 18 was the new universe version of the Spaz 12. But they were semi-auto like in Black Ops 1. You could run them in Akimbo. You could hold fire shells. And Modern Warfare 3's movement was pretty ridiculous. So yeah, you see where I'm going. The Akimbo Reclaimers were literally everywhere in Modern Warfare 3 for the longest time, and they completely destroyed the fun factor of what was an otherwise pretty solid modern COD game. Thankfully, Sledgehammer was able to push out a nerf a few months into the Black Ops 6 life cycle, which is pretty funny, because according to inside reports, they were only given the green light to do that because Activision realized nobody liked Black Ops 6 in its current state, and everybody was going back to Modern Warfare 3 now that it had been added to the Game Pass. So if you boot the game up now, the Reclaimers are balanced, but they're still toxic. Speaking of Black Ops 6, let's talk about the Jackal. It was busted in the beta. Then it was nerfed a few times during the game's core lifecycle. Frankly, I don't even think it's that good anymore. But from day one of the beta to right now, it was the go-to weapon for the most annoying kinds of Black Ops 6 players. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones that slide cancel everywhere. They dive around every corner, they abuse Omni movement, and they probably reverse boosted to get into your lobby so they could get cheap nuke gameplays for TikTok. Bonus points if they're running the Beavis and Butthead or American Dad skins. Again, I don't even think the Jackal is that good of an SMG anymore. But there's just something about it that makes everyone play like a complete asshat when they equip it. I will never understand it. Black Ops 7. You guys know I don't like this game, frankly. I think about half the weapon sandbox in the game is toxic because, for whatever reason, Treyarch just keeps adding stupid mega attachments to the mix and makes the entire game a complete crap show. But if I have to pick one, then fine. I pick the Akita. Super high capacity, lightweight, full auto shotgun, dual wielded for whatever reason. You don't even have to aim at people. You just run around Nuketown holding both triggers and get multi-kills. Yeah, that makes me want to go boot up the game and jump back in, right? Knowing that people are running around the servers like that? Seriously. I don't know. Go back to Black Ops 2. And finally, COD Mobile love. Not really love, but I have no idea what this thing was doing in COD Mobile, but at least it's better than it was in Advanced Warfare. I'm talking about the NA-45, the explosive sniper that needed a second shot to be fired to turn the first shot on, for some reason. But in a game like COD Mobile, where the boots on the ground, the majority of the player base is moving slowly, an explosive sniper rifle suddenly becomes not only viable, but also extremely toxic in a hilarious way. Although, that being said, getting blown up out of the spawn from across the map by somebody sitting in a head glitch with an NA-45 can piss you off. And that's what gives it the toxic reputation. I do love this stupid thing. I do. I love the way it was preserved from the AW days, but I do think maybe we went a little too far in redeeming it in COD Mobile. Hope you guys have a great day.